All right, let's talk about a true workhorse of machine learning. It's an algorithm that's so simple and so fast, you've probably used it a dozen times just this morning without even realizing it. We're going to dive into the unsung hero of AI, naive Bayes.
You know that feeling when you open your email and it just knows what's spam? Or when your newsfeed is freakishly good at showing you the exact kind of stuff you want to read? You'd think it's some kind of super genius, complex AI working its magic. But a lot of the time, the real answer is, well, way simpler.
Yep, in so many of these cases, the answer is this beautifully simple algorithm called naive Bayes. It's the quiet engine running in the background for spam filters, for figuring out if a review is positive or negative, for sorting news articles, even for detecting fraud. It's literally everywhere, just making our digital lives work a little bit better. Okay, so to really get naive Bayes, we gotta start with its foundation, Bayes' theorem. And I know the word theorem can sound a little intimidating, but don't worry. At its heart, it's just a formal name for something you already do all the time, making smart guesses based on what you already know. Think of it this way. It's just a rule for updating what you believe. Let's say you wake up and think, maybe a 10% chance of rain today. But then you look outside and see these huge dark clouds rolling in. That's new evidence, right? So you update your belief. Now you're thinking, okay, it's more like a 70% chance. That's it. That's Bayes' theorem in a nutshell. You're just updating your odds as you get new information. So how does this help us with spam? Well, it's all about asking the right question. What we really want to know is this. Given the words I see in this email, what is the probability that it's spam? To figure that out, the theorem tells us to look at a couple of things we do know. First, how often do these exact words show up in emails we've already marked as spam? And second, just in general, what percentage of all emails are spam anyway? You put those known pieces together, and suddenly you can make a super educated guess about the email you're looking at. Okay, so that covers the Bayes part of naive Bayes. But what about the naive part? This is my favorite bit, because this is where the magic happens. It's the secret sauce that makes this thing so unbelievably fast. It all comes down to one big, kind of cheeky shortcut. The algorithm's big shortcut is that it's naive. It purposefully ignores how complicated things are in the real world. And get this, that's not a bug. It's a feature. It's the entire reason it's so fast. It makes a trade, a little bit of perfection for a whole lot of speed, all thanks to one single assumption. And here it is, the naive independence assumption. What does that mean? It means the algorithm just pretends that every single word in an email has absolutely no connection to any other word. It sees each word as a totally separate piece of evidence, like they have no friends and no context. This is a perfect example. We all know that if you see the word free in an email, the word offer might be right around the corner, especially in spam. They're related. But naive Bayes, it just doesn't care. It looks at free and offer as two totally separate, unrelated clues. Now, is that assumption technically wrong? Yeah, totally. But by ignoring all those complicated connections, the math becomes ridiculously easy and super fast. It's a brilliant shortcut. All right, so we've got our roadmap, that's Bayes' theorem, and we've got our super fast shortcut, that's the naive assumption. So let's put it all together. Let's actually watch how this thing decides if a new email is spam or not, step by step. Okay, so here's the game plan in 5 simple steps. First, it looks at the big picture. What's the base rate? Out of all the emails we've seen, how many are spam? Then, step 2, it looks at our new email, and for every single word, it asks, what's the chance this word shows up in a spam email? And what's the chance it shows up in a normal one? Then, step 3, and here's where the naive part kicks in, it just multiplies all those probabilities together for each category. Easy. Step 4, it combines that big multiplied number with the base rate from step 1. And finally, the decision, whichever category, spam or not spam, gets the higher final score, wins. Boom. Email classified. But wait a second. There's a potential uh-oh moment here, right? The whole system is based on multiplying probabilities. So what happens if a word shows up in a new email that the algorithm has literally never, ever seen before? Its probability would be 0. And what happens when you multiply a whole string of numbers by 0? The whole thing becomes 0. The calculation completely breaks. But don't worry, there's a really clever fix for this called Laplace smoothing. And it's basically a simple little hack. All we do is add 1 to every single word count in our data. We just pretend we've seen every possible word at least once before. By doing that, you make sure no probability can ever be 0, the multiplication doesn't break, and the whole system just keeps on chugging along. Problem solved. And you should know, naive Bayes isn't just one single tool. It's more like a toolkit with a few different flavors for different jobs. The one we've been talking about with word counts, that's called multinomial, perfect for text. Then there's Bernoulli, which is even simpler. It just asks, is the word here, yes or no? And finally, there's Gaussian, which you'd use when you're measuring things, not counting them, like sensor data or medical readings. So let's pull back for a second. We've established that its main assumption is naive, and the math isn't that complicated. So you might be wondering, in today's world of giant, complex neural networks, why is anybody still talking about naive Bayes? Why is it still such a go-to tool? Oh, the reasons are fantastic. First off, it is incredibly fast, like lightning fast. It chews through data with thousands of features, like all the words in a dictionary, no problem. Plus, and this is a big one, you don't need a mountain of training data for it to start working pretty well. It's easy to build, easy to understand what it's doing, and it gives you a confidence score, not just a blind guess. Now, of course, it's not a silver bullet. Its biggest strength, that naive assumption, is also its biggest weakness. In the real world, words are connected. Context matters. So because it ignores that, it can get tripped up when words are really closely linked. It just can't see those complex relationships the way more sophisticated models can. So where does it fit in the toolkit? Well, think of it like this. Something like logistic regression is better at seeing how different words are related, but it usually needs more data to get there. A powerhouse like an SVM can be way more accurate on really tough problems, but it's also a lot slower to train. And then you have something totally different like a decision tree, which works with if-then rules instead of probabilities. They all have their place. But here's the key takeaway, the main point of all this. Despite its simplicity, naive Bayes often performs shockingly well. It's a fantastic baseline model. You start with it, and honestly, for a lot of tasks, especially with text, it's so good you might not even need anything fancier. It absolutely punches way, way above its weight class. And that kind of leaves us with a cool thought, doesn't it? We're always told that to solve complex problems, you need complex, powerful tools. But naive Bayes is this beautiful reminder that sometimes taking an approach that's simple, fast, and willing to make a clever shortcut isn't just good enough. Sometimes it's the smartest move you can make.